Welcome everyone to the Gritty Mamas podcast. It is Saturday night. What is the date? June
6th.
June 6th. Mm-hmm. Again, we're here with Leah Moses and Dana Tingey. Like when they're in town and when Leah is not on call. Are you on call?
No.
Because she's a midwife,
Hallelujah.
everyone. Yeah, then we are like, let's do this. So we're here at Sundara. So thankful for this amazing medical clinic where you get your aesthetics, wellness, and primary care and mental health care all here. So thank you to Mark and Whitney and the Sundara team. But I don't want to waste any time. I don't want to give you any of my updates. There are some good ones, but you're going to have to wait.
Next time.
Yeah, because I don't want to waste a single second with these amazing ladies. And I know that in my inbox, I don't know if you get this sometimes too. I know both of you are constantly getting messages about not only help, but for me anyway, people are saying, well, how do you know if this is abuse? I had one friend of mine, she's like, asking me about my lawyer and if she, who is it? And I'm like, well, why do you need one? And I'm trying to kind of, do a little bit of investigating just so that she can feel comfortable to say it to me. And, she just said, I said, is he abusing you? Like, are you safe? She's like, it's not abuse. I mean, he like threw me on the bed and had a gun, but that was the most of it. Like, so it's not because she didn't get hurt.
How abused do you have to be when those words come out of your mouth?
Well,
he threw you on the bed and he had a gun, but are we kidding?
Yeah. But that's how, number one, like on the outside, we can be like, hello, are you stupid? But when you're on the inside and there's the trauma
But when
bond,
somebody comes to you and they say that to you,
and I did,
the lights start flashing in front of your eyes and be like, okay, I have to tell everybody, just to be clear, I was raised around a plenty of weapons. My favorite, we're going to get hated on YouTube. They're going to like push our episode down if we talk about GUN so much. But one of my favorite smells is gun oil and coming home and watching my dad clean his guns. I'm a cop's kid. Like, I love it. But guess what? I was raised around anytime they were out, unloaded, they were put away safely. My dad taught me like how to hold one, how to make sure there's nothing in the chamber, and they were never left out. He never, ever, 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 ever had it out in our house for any reason except for to clean it. So if they're just like strewn about your house, if they're like brandishing a weapon, if they're out in any manner except for like you either have it safely worn or you safely keep it away. So if anybody's ever around you with a weapon in any other manner, it's a problem, just to be clear.
Yeah. But for her...
Red flag.
Red flag,
Yeah.
red flag, red flag.
For her, he didn't hurt her. He threw her on the bed, probably scared her, didn't punch her, had the gun. I don't know what he was doing, but she's like, but it's not that there's no abuse. And I was like, oh, that's abusive.
It's heartbreaking to hear that.
It's abusive. And then I had another one send me a message and I said, what's going on? Are you safe? Is there abuse involved? And she said, no, there's no abuse. I mean, he's addicted to porn and lying about it and addicted to and lying about the finances. And I'm like, well, that's abuse. But that's kind of what I wanted to get into. Leah and Dana both have experienced more than their fair share of abuse, knowing it and not knowing it, right? I'll just let you get right into it.
But also having people come to you and ask, how do I know? What does this look like? And then when you hear it, because before when we were setting up, we were talking for a minute and we were saying, well, it's not just somebody saying, Dana, it was you, right? That said, it's not just, what does it look like? It's also like, it's not you in the situation, it's your friend. If your friend comes to you, then what do you do, right? It's a lot of the time, it's not us who thinks it's abuse, it's our friend.
I do. I get a bunch of messages like, my friend is in this. How do I help her see the light?
Yes.
And I'll give you one quick cut to the chase is, what if you weren't married to this person? Or what if you weren't related to this person? What would you do if this were a stranger? Which you're having a whole new experience.
Mm-hmm. With my neighbor, you mean?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Where you're not married to that person, if that person hurts my child, I call the police.
Right.
So that
if this person talks to me like that, I call the police.
If this person threw me on the bed...
Yeah.
Or threw me anywhere.
He threw a brick and we called the police.
Yeah. Right. So there's something, and I'm not even saying that the police see it that way too. But my first step is, if someone asks me, I would say, what if this was not someone you were married to?
Or what if
Pretend
it
it's a
was your
stranger.
friend saying that to you? Often I will say, you know, well, if somebody asked you that, what would you say? If somebody did that to your friend or to your mother, if it wasn't you in that situation, what would you say? Because you would never let somebody, I mean, I remember being a kid and us fighting and my dad walking into the room saying, I wouldn't let an idiot off the street come into my house and talk to my kids like that. You think I'm going to let you talk to each other like that? You know,
so good.
Right? And so if you say, would you let somebody talk to your kid like that or to your sister like that? No. Why would you let them talk to you like that? Right? It doesn't make sense.
Leah, did anyone see it for what it was in your relationship? Like, did anyone come up to you and or notice that there was red flags with him?
There's so many thoughts. Later on, much later, not after, well, certainly definitely after Om died, but many years after I was even divorced, there were people who would say, oh, I knew it. I saw that so early on. I don't know how you didn't see that. You know, and that's always like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
I've
thinking
had that
about
too.
this person who contacted you. I don't know her, but so many others. I've heard similar stories too, right? The gun's left on the bed, or there's just like a bullet
Oh my heck.
in some kind of strategic place. Like parts and pieces for you were not a problem because
Well, they were
that
always-
was a safe thing for you.
And
But
they were like,
for most people,
purposeful.
they don't grow up with that and don't have, I mean, there were always parts and pieces of like
Well-
shotguns on the garage, you know, that kind of thing that I experienced. But
and that was never, my point was that if they were out, they were being cleaned. Otherwise, they were picked up and put in a safe, right? Like my dad never left anything like that out ever.
I think what you're saying is, how do you report, there was a bullet on the shelf in my closet?
Yeah.
well, let's even
To us, it means
I
something.
think we should even walk back because so many times abuse doesn't involve a weapon. So many
Yes,
times abuse
yes.
doesn't involve physical
Usually.
harm.
Usually.
So most of the time. So many times actually very, very subtle. So to what you were asking, I was just thinking about like considering the different parts and pieces of the power and control wheel, which is a really great social science tool that was created many, many years ago. There are so many different versions.
and you find it accurate. You're like, this is good.
I find it helpful
Okay.
and informative, and it's like a simple way to like look at something that's like tangible evidence.
It's like
where
demonstrative.
you can go through and like look at each category. Like certainly it's not going to be totally comprehensive, but I remember seeing one for the first time, and was in the basement of the YWCA, and thinking, I knew that I needed help. A friend helped me get there. I had a baby in a car seat. I was like, I'm gonna do this. You know, I had other people convincing me that like these red flags were wrong and that things were unsafe. And remember when the domestic violence detective handed me the paper and said, have any of these things happened to you? And I looked at it and thought, I fit every category. Like, how did someone know and write this down? I was like totally amazed. I realized that it doesn't fit every relationship. Like there are different versions, but when you look at it and it looks very like it's very, very simple. They're certainly not comprehensive, but when I saw the different categories, using intimidation, using emotional abuse, using isolation, minimizing, denying, and blaming, and I don't even mind like reading off of it because I think these are super critical, using children, which we've talked about and we'll talk about more, using male privilege, economic abuse, and then coercion and threats, which fits into all those categories. It's this is much more than the black eye, broken arm.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember learning that the silent treatment is abuse. And when I learned that, so many things started to click because you do think of the weapons. You do think, like when you're talking about a bullet being left around being meaningful to you, it's because it's like passive aggressive, it's intimidating, it's part of the culture of your home, different things that they're playing into that nobody else, right? And it's the same with silence, right? Because
Because that's a message too.
it's a message too. But my favorite communication guy, when he's talking to you about how to deal with a narcissist or, various things, one of his techniques is say nothing, because your words can't be used against you if you say nothing, which is 100% true. And it's so good in so many different situations. But when you're being abused, the abuser uses the same thing. They say nothing because then your words can't be used against you.
And it can also sometimes be dangerous not to engage. I mean, every relationship is so different. I think
Yep.
that's where, like, I have the power and control wheel on the wall in my clinic in almost every exam room. And the reason is because we do intimate partner violence screenings in healthcare. I mean, that should be done. If you're at a women's healthcare visit and that hasn't been done yet for you, you need to talk to your provider about it and say like, hey, are you screening for intimate partner violence? You really should. So that's like evidence-based. All the major healthcare organizations like across
Are there
the
times
US
where
will
you
say-
have to like kick the man out?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, no. You don't ask anything at all of a patient
Until they're alone.
unless they're alone. Yeah,
But that's
a
what I'm
really
saying. What if he
important
doesn't
part.
leave the room?
Happens all the time.
And you
Yeah.
just have to deal with it.
Sometimes we found creative ways like, oh, we need a urine sample. Like, let me show you in the bathroom where to find the supplies. Like, it's that kind of, There are lots and lots of creative
What
ways.
happens? Let's say somebody goes, like, that's their solution. I want to go to a provider like you and let them know. What do you do? Like, their abuser's there. What's the next step for them?
I mean, it can be really tricky. You have to read the room really carefully. But if you can ask the questions of someone alone, and there are some really, really simple evidence-based questions, you know, it's like, yes, it involves the physical, like, have you been hit, kick, slap, punch, like you know, that kind of thing. And then, or have you been sexually abused in the past? And we ask also like, in the emotional abuse as well. So is someone talking to you or behaving toward you in any way that's like aggressive or that you're scared?
Manipulative.
And then we also ask the question about the past too. And that's a really important one because so many times women will either get out if they're lucky enough to be able to do that and have enough support and the right kind of support and the right time and all the rest of the things we could talk about for a year. But there's a moment, I think, when someone realizes this is abuse. And I think that that's what we wanted to get at tonight, right? Like it just sometimes takes so long. Sometimes it takes the right person, the right friend, or the right moment, but it is scary.
I was gonna
It's
say,
so
it's the
scary
fear.
to release that. It's so vulnerable. We also have such a stigma too.
It's also like the fear of the unknown, right? It's like, okay, well, if I allow myself the like freedom and vulnerability to say, okay, this is abuse, I have to allow myself to feel the next thing, which is the fear of the what do I do now, right? It's terrifying. Like I'd rather not allow myself to realize the truth because I don't want to deal with it.
Well, I'll give the patient in the clinic example. So many times, like, women will start to say it, and it's really, really important also in those settings. And you can do this also with friends and family too. And this is a really tricky one. In a formal setting, we have to say, and if you tell me that there's elder abuse in front of a child or to a child, or using a lethal weapon, I have to report those
You're
things.
a mandatory reporter.
We're actually all mandatory reporters. Well, in the state of Utah, every state has like slightly different laws, but many are quite similar. If you're over 18 and you're an adult, you're a mandated reporter.
Really?
People think that it's only like an
Cops and
LCSW
doctors
or
and-
yeah, exactly. Nope, we're all mandated reporters.
Interesting.
And then there's the whole conundrum of Child Protective Services, what they do, how they do it, what they don't do, which is another conversation maybe for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think if someone discloses and wants to disclose, then what are the steps? Well, one of the best things to do is to get them to a real advocate, like an advocate who's trained, because then they can walk them through a safety plan, assess like what is the danger level. You know, it might be a lethality assessment. It might be the danger assessment. And you can go to the dangerassessment.org and do your own assessment for yourself or for someone else. That's a really effective tool. And if in the moment someone really wants to report and find an advocate, no matter where you are, doesn't matter how rural it is, doesn't matter if you're in the middle of a city, doesn't matter what city you're in or what state, you can always call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Or some states have their own hotline as well. So that's like the go-to.
So what were some of the things, I guess, I don't know how much you can say, Dana, in both of your relationships, now looking back, that you didn't realize were abusive? What's the first thing that comes to your head when you look back on your marriage and you're like, okay, that was messed up and I just let it slide, or I didn't realize?
Well, I might even say, what about when you do recognize it, but you're told,
You're
I'm
overreacting.
so lucky that God gave you to me. You're the only one that can help me, and I'm going to get better. And I'm so glad that you're so kind and forgiving, and you've always been there for me, and I'm gonna get better, and I don't want to be like this.
So
Whatever
the pendulum
this
swings
is.
very far.
Well, I guess part of it is most abusers that I deal with clients and such is that like they don't usually volunteer that they've been abusive. It's or that something's happened. It's usually only very specifically what they've been caught at or what they can't get out of.
Some tricky ones will be souveniring though.
Oh yeah, we could talk about that.
What's that?
I think you guys started me off today with the silence. Like I remember thinking, hello, you just walked through the room as if
I don't exist.
I am not in this. Like it was weird. And I'm like, what is that? But I have a big mouth. I'm like, hey, that's weird. What's weird? Well, you walk through the room and I'm sitting right here. Hello, like I didn't get it.
Kind of another form of isolation.
Yeah.
Punishment, ignoring.
It's a very strange
The
feeling.
souveniring
right?
thing, though,
What is
happens
that?
quite often. So this is like really common. You hear it on like true crime, whatever.
Yeah.
Lots of times, even if it's like a CSA, right? Abuse of children in many different ways, where the abuser will keep objects or letters or
A sock.
items from the people that they've assaulted.
Yeah.
Sometimes also, especially the real tricky ones, especially the ones that are very emotionally abusive and then move into the physical or sexual, will keep like apology letters or have a whole cache of like emails. This is like my own experience, but not just my own experience,
Yeah.
where they'll be, they've manipulated someone so far into a relationship. This happens a lot in faith-based communities as well, where say that there's like really early like sexual interaction that was coercive. And then there's like the whole like, I'm sorry, and, cards or letters or whatever. And oftentimes the victim will then write back or at least produce something tangible that's like, it's okay, I'm going to help you, kind of like to your point.
I still love you.
Yeah.
I understand. We'll get through this together.
Or even the breakup letter too, which is like, I can't do this anymore. I think you have all these great, in order to be a good victim, you have to like see the perpetrator as someone who has like skills or things that you somehow were attracted to. There's like the embarrassment of it. There's the shame of it. There's like so much rolled into the emotion.
You have to see them as redeemable, right? And like
Yeah, sure.
A
somebody
lot of
that
times people do.
you can help, like you said, with your experiences, like, thank you for being here. You're the one to help me, all of that, right?
I found card after card, letter after letter that was like, you're so amazing. Like, I know you can improve. I just like can't do this anymore. But it was, when I look at the date and the person, I realize like, oh, that was in the middle of the relationship. Or that was in the middle of my relationship with you, but also in the middle of that one too.
Yeah,
Oh my
good
gosh.
point. I do think there's something to be said in faith-based abuse. Abuse looks different to different people at different times. I'm in town for a wedding, and the grandma of this wedding, she reminded me, she would say stuff to me like, are you okay? Like, I'm noticing some familiar...
when you were married.
Yeah. She would say, I noticed this or I noticed that. And I was quick to be like, what? No, I don't know what,
She saw it before you did.
Because I don't even know that I didn't see it.
You didn't want to.
I didn't, like, what would that
What's the
say?
alternative?
My brothers would say, why didn't you say anything to us? And I said, what does that say about me?
Well-
that I'm staying in this situation.
But also, this is not a faith-based thing. This is like a marriage thing where when you get married, you understand that every fight you have, you can't go tell mom about it because you want mom to like your husband, right?
That's
like,
right.
Every marriage is going to have fighting. Yeah. Every marriage is going to have problems. Every marriage has to have forgiveness. And your parents don't need to be the one you go to, right? Your brother or whatever, right? And so it's like there's this fine balance between, of course, I'm not going to say my husband's worst moments to you because I want you to be his friend.
Right.
But then at the same time, it's like, well, is this abuse? And I'm hiding from the abuse and I'm not telling. You know what I mean? It's like this balance.
Then throw in temple marriage and covenants and you're
Sure.
done for.
And did we talk about abuse now? Like, look, you can get on Instagram, YouTube, you can look things up. That's not how it used to be.
30 years ago, yeah.
Right. And so I think no matter if you can label it, like the power and control wheel shocked me the same as Leah is saying. Like, I was almost scared, like, wait, who got into my brain and wrote this down? I'm nervous. Did I say something and someone knew? What if I get found out looking at this?
I mean, I think we can give some examples too, because I was just looking at the emotional abuse. So
sure.
That one's a tough one to tackle because I think people are like,
That's a good idea.
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
But that silent treatment goes under there, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure. Then putting her down, making her feel bad about herself. I'm just going to like literally read it off. Calling her names, making her think she's crazy, playing mind games, humiliating her, making her feel guilty. I mean, I remember him saying, like, your IQ is so low, you will never be able to function without me.
What?
And I just thought,
Ivy League trained.
maybe I am dumb.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I just don't have what it takes. I mean, so of
You
course
start to
later
believe
on,
it.
that's why like, and so we have these reactions, right? So, I mean, a couple of years later, I was like, I'm going to do this. And I made a list of like every Ivy League school that I could possibly go to, medical wise.
So yeah,
And I,
let's clue them
I got to
in
prove it. I got to
because-
prove it, you know?
Yeah, you want to prove them wrong. Like, how dare you? We forget because not everybody listens to every single episode. So if this is your first time hearing this episode, Dana Tingey is a domestic violence national expert and coaches clients all over the nation on domestic abuse. And then Leah is now a midwife, went to an Ivy League school with probably not $1 to your name.
Prove my IQ.
Yeah.
Probably less than $1 to her name.
Seriously.
How are your student loans?
And
Still working on that.
became this amazing midwife, here in Utah, and is on how many boards?
Like,
on
you're a
how many
director, right? I mean-
policies have you helped to create? You're a director of what? Of the hospital?
I'm director of midwifery for
Really?
Intermountain. Yeah,
For all Intermountain.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
But before, I mean, I went into it for the sole purpose, truly. It's like the main reason why I went into medicine was because I thought that was a place where I could help. I mean, before I ever thought that I could get out. And I mean, I got out in an unusual way that I do not wish on anyone
yeah.
with a homicide of my child. But I went into women's health because I thought there's some way that I can help a woman understand what abuse is, then that's what I'm going to do. And I think I can do it clinically. I wasn't really sure what that would look like, but I knew what it looked like for me because I had midwives who supported me. So like my first birth, during the prenatal care, I went really, really late to care. I mean, I was like almost third trimester.
Well, do you want to tell them why, Leah?
Because of the abuse that I had experienced. And really it was because, my children are a result of sexual assault. And
But Leah,
that happened so early on.
go back to when you first found out you were pregnant.
And bring this up.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. I think, if anyone is in this scenario or finds this scenario, or finds themselves in this scenario in the future, like, there is hope. You are worth it. Like, stay with it. Find someone that you care and trust to talk to. I really felt like I didn't have anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was this like model sort of like friend and a daughter and all, sister, all the roles. And I had, done everything right in my life. I was usually got really good grades. all of those things lined
And
up.
me and Leah were in the same
And we were in the
university
same-
ward up at the University of
Were you
Utah,
really?
Same congregation. Yeah.
where we both met the men
abusers.
that we married.
Yeah.
Yes, these abusers.
So scary.
Yeah. When I was like, oh, I know this person named this, she's like, wait a second. Wait.
Again,
Church.
yes. Again, if you were just listening to it for the first time, Leah has championed what is called Ohm's Law, which is patterned after Caden's Law. And this is a law that protects children. And I should refer you back to the podcast where we talked about Ohm's Law, who was her son that was killed by his dad. And so when I was going through my whole process with the petitioner and met Dana and was talking to Dana about, okay, do a discovery. It's time to subpoena. This is abuse. And this is what you need
You're
to
like,
do.
but there's no abuse.
Yeah, I'm like, no. There's no, I said the words, but there's no gun to my head.
Yeah.
And you're like, you don't have to have a gun to your head for it to be abuse. And I was like, what? Like, just like all of them. You think
Have
it
you
has to
guys
be physical.
Ever heard about, I had somebody in my ward say that the Nazis, the way they got people on the train wasn't with weapons. They told them that that's where like safety would be found is on the other side of the train.
Ugh.
And so they willingly got onto these trains to go to these camps.
Yeah, to go to the gas chamber. Yeah.
But it was not because they
Were threatened
physically threatened
yeah.
them. Yeah, you can do a lot with words. And especially when you are trusting somebody so much, right? You wouldn't marry somebody you didn't trust. Like, you care about their opinion so much. I mean, unless you've been manipulated the whole time, you know. But ideally, if you're in an ideal situation and you're in love with somebody and you trust them, like, they have a lot of power in your life, right?
Well,
they don't need a weapon.
So when I'm getting told that I'm ordered to reunification therapy and ordered to have an AFCC, court-ordered therapy and a guardian ad litem, and I'm like, what the crap? And Dana said, well, Ohm's law is trying to fight all this. And I said, what is Ohm's law?
Yeah.
It is, have you heard of Leah Moses? And I was like, what did you say? I know Leah.
I know her.
I did. And I DM'd her. I'm like, Leah, what do I do? And she messaged me back. And that's kind of how it was like rekindled. But go back to where you were. Sorry, Leah.
Yeah, if anybody wants more information about that, it's a collection of statute that helped to change state law to make things safer for children in family court, so that courts have to they have to be aware of and look for and be trained in, and then identify, and when they identify that domestic violence is a factor, safety first for kids. Like, that's really the bottom line.
Over parents' rights.
And that's a really, really tricky one, because that is not the way that courts have run.
No, it's parental rights at all costs.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was,
Even with the law in place.
the early experiences that I had with reproductive coercion, which coercive control is also another important, I think, definition to understand, which we kind of went into another episode. But when we think about that, the reproductive coercion that I experienced then led me into this like tangled web where I felt like I couldn't get out. I mean, it was like, well, I guess I'm in it now.
Was that a religion-based at all, do you think?
I mean, I think some ways it was a bit faith-based, for sure. But I think that there are many people who don't necessarily pertain to any religion at all that feel manipulated. And then they feel like they've had like some kind of like physical relationship with someone. And that then, I mean, there are like specific emotions that come with that too. And then I start to feel guilty. Like, why am I with this person? I think that I love them, but they're behaving this way that I know it's wrong.
Did you think you loved him, Leah?
No.
You always knew you didn't?
No.
He just coerced you the whole time.
The first maybe few weeks, I was like, how does this person know everything that I'm like want to achieve in my life? You want to like achieve this academically, and you want to achieve this, like you want to travel here or there, whatever. He was so like perfect for me. It was amazing. And then when I started to meet his past victims, they all said the same thing, and it was just this like in perpetuity.
He's a
I was
predator.
a predator.
He's like preying on
We had
you.
really, really honed in on like being able to perfect this art of coming across as like a perfect fit. And that can happen often. That doesn't always happen, but it's
But walk
common.
us through that more, because I think it's hard for people. Like, this is something I have never experienced. I think I have family members that I could say have, but I am kind of a curmudgeon enough and angry enough in my own like independent woman kind of. I was the one that was like in the 5th grade. My teacher was like, "Oh, you're gonna be the first woman president," you know.
But that is a great victim for
I think
a perpetrator.
all of us,
But when I
powerful.
met him, I was a college graduate. I had started to fill up a passport. I had all kinds of ambition.
Did you have a close relationship to your parents? Like, if they had said something,
Super close with my family.
Did your family see anything?
I think they probably did, but maybe you didn't want to say anything.
So
but
they didn't
I mean,
say anything. Okay.
the physical and sexual abuse happened so fast, though, in my scenario, that I
that's the
felt
thing.
so sucked in that I felt like I
So
couldn't
that
get
was
out
the
of it.
part. That's what I'm trying to understand. Is like,
Would never have. Married
I would
him if
have to
wasn't
probably
pregnant.
feel
never
guilty or felt like I was doing something righteous by staying, and that's what it was. That part.
Well, I think some women would be like you're talking about, like fix me, and then there's the ones that are just like, I'm gonna figure out exactly what will like weave the tangled web and like rope this person in.
But you jumped, you just like slipped through that. That was a slip of the tongue. I never would have married him if I wasn't pregnant. You didn't even want to be pregnant.
Well,
So
he
there
moved
was-
so fast. This is how I see is that they don't always move that fast, but there's the same order of events. because he preyed on she is smart, really smart, and probably could have seen that within a couple months, right?
Most of them don't come in with a heavy hand.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that, especially the ones that are like abusive over a long period of time. I mean, really, like, I think some of the people that, you know, you've had as clients and that have approached you and also approached me too, had like, maybe they had actually a great dating relationship. Maybe marriage was like actually in the cards for them, and they felt like it truly was real in the beginning.
That is
like,
what I hear most
I don't
of.
want to negate that.
Yeah.
Because there are those as well. And
Mostly
that
I hear
maybe they develop habits or deepening habits or go back to old habits. Like, let's be conscious about that too.
Well, they're practiced at reflecting back what you're looking for. That's what I experienced. Kind of like on a rebound, everything that I hadn't found before was reflected back to me. Pretty smart, like observe. Okay, I see this. She wants this, that. And then that's who they become. Maybe they really want to become that person, but it's not who they ever were before.
I look at my situation with the petitioner, just with hearing you say you became the perfect, or like you were the perfect prey for him, right? I look at mine and I didn't see, I mean, I knew that I was driven and ambitious. I had a college degree. I served a mission. You know, I had a family. I like siblings and born and bred Mormon, and that was what, you know, he wanted. But I also had a car, and he did not have a license because he wasn't a citizen. I also had citizenship, you know, and I was like, there is no way that this wonderful guy is going to sweep me off my feet for my citizenship, for a green card. And I now have realized, like, I was supply. And I was like, what the heck is supply? Like, all of these things that I am just coming to now. So, but back to you, you find that you're pregnant. You feel like you need to get married because of faith?
I mean, well, also the threat was, and I mean, threats happened early on too. So it was, you are going to abort this pregnancy.
Yeah.
It's your fault. Like, get online and go, like, apply for Medicaid, because, like, I'm not paying for this. Like, this is all you. And I think after that, things kind of like rolled forward, and then socially I think there was maybe some pressure, and I think he kind of wanted to cover things up and realized, oh, the best way to do this is to like really lock it in. And
did he punish you for for keeping the baby?
Oh yeah. I mean, I
The ultimate price, right?
Yes. Yeah. But in the pregnancy and at delivery, like, what was that like?
I mean, awful. Yeah, like the abuse didn't stop. The sexual abuse didn't stop.
Did you?
And so that's where I'm coming back to one of the reasons why I went into women's health was because I had these midwives who were so supportive.
Because did he come in to save the day in the delivery room?
No, not at all. No,
Did he even show up?
Well, there's no one to impress.
no,
They
fell
don't
asleep. No.
really abusers that type. They don't offer him anything. They're not going to get him.
He's not getting anything from them.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing.
There's
to suck.
much more payout of leaving the victim hopeless,
So
abandoned.
like, were any nurses
solo.
like, dude, your husband's a douche?
No, I was so independent. I mean, by that point, I was really fierce about, I mean, I'd been all independent like my whole life, but especially in the deliveries. I have 2 biological children, and both of the deliveries I was unmedicated, but that was on purpose for me because there was no way that I was going to have anything like tie me down or like put me in a place where I couldn't like exit the room. I mean, from very, very early on, I knew where every exit was. I knew who was in the room. I knew like, I was constantly like surveying, like where can I find some kind of safety? How do I get out?
Did anybody do what you do for your patients to you?
I had one midwife who, partway through my first pregnancy, said, you're better than this. But we didn't go through like any kind of description or anything like that. I think she was kind of like trying to see if I was okay or if I was recognizing it. My second, I didn't even go back to the hospital because I was like, I'm not going to go anywhere near, because I didn't understand CPS, and I'm not going to go anywhere near where anyone can see that, like, what he's doing or what he's done.
Yeah.
Do you feel like from...
Because I thought that they would like take my kids.
Yeah.
Sure.
I kind of wonder, because I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, because I feel I can see myself in your story, right? Like smart, independent, all good family, all the things. Do you feel like your mother's intuition to protect your unborn children like came in full force too? Because you're like, at all costs, you're going to protect these kids.
Well,
like,
that's why I stayed later on too.
It's
why
biological,
when I left,
right?
I came back and left and came back and left and came back. I mean, so many of us do it because you're weighing, do I leave and do this like total unknown where I'm hearing that then there's this split of like 70-30 at best, right? And there's this whole like big long list of like the holidays you can have and can't have and odd years and even, I mean, I knew like a little bit about that, but I also was just terrified to like not live with them, to be able to like physically protect them.
Yeah.
right.
I mean, from the time that they were really little, he was like
I hear that
talking
a lot.
about, you know, bathing, like all kinds of stuff that would just, you know, you need to not be afraid to do this, like, and, you know, like, what is going on? I mean, finally, I found in writing, I'm a sex addict and a child molester. I'm afraid I'll do it even to my own kids. He had written it when he was in his 20s. It was like this journal that I found. I mean, that was the final straw where all this stuff had happened before. But once I found that, then it was like, okay, you're going to abuse me, but absolutely not. You're not going to abuse the kids. And I was too late.
Yeah, I was going to say what you realized was that he
Yeah.
already had been. Yeah. So I don't know. I get nervous to be so bold in my questions, but like, what kind of things did he do, Leah, that, and maybe at this point you knew that it was messed up and wrong and you weren't fooled, but you couldn't get out, it wasn't safe, and you wanted to protect your kids. But like, you talk about how he show just porn?
From early on. Yeah, both kids from really, really early on.
And how comfortable are you talking about, and I can edit this if necessary, but the trafficking?
Yeah, that too. I mean, I don't know how deep things were before I met him, but certainly someone who goes into a relationship like that, aggressive and sort of calculated, has a past. And so that's something else like to watch for too. If things are happening too fast, or if you're feeling like this is more than I've ever experienced before. I mean, certainly physically or sexually in relationships, like, this is my advice, right? This is like big red flag.
Or too good
like,
to be true.
Or you say, hold on. I mean, it's this classic like consent, and it's like all over college campuses, and we talk about it, and there's like t-shirts, and you can like, I mean, but it's for real. Like, consent is real. And
what does it look like?
We too often ignore it.
I'm thinking like, I mean, in an intimate situation when your partner is putting their hands places you don't like you can remove a hand, you can slap a face, you can do, you know, but what does that look like on a college campus? Red flags, like you met a guy at the football game and he appears at your dorm the next day and then in your class the next day, or like, what kind of things are like, that's too fast, that's too much? Are there like you can't draw this broad brush stroke for everybody, but are there things that you're like, that's never a good thing when that happens?
Do you have some of those?
I mean, I immediately
Too many gifts, too fast, too soon. Like
trips, money, so much attention.
Like, trying to impress you?
But it's all you've ever wanted.
Impressing your friends.
Right.
It's usually calculated and it's usually personalized.
Yeah, right. So they're studying you. We talked about this before in a different podcast. They're studying you from the moment that you meet.
So like taking mental notes of the things that you like and where you're from and like what you want to do, that kind of stuff.
But then pretty quickly, a lot of times it turns into isolation.
That's
like,
right.
You as a couple are just going to like conquer the world, or you're somehow so much better than anybody else who's ever gotten together, and it's like lots of synergy.
Yeah, your family, they don't even appreciate you, or you know, you're doing all this, you're so amazing. I mean, they don't deserve you. Or
do they isolate from friends because they're saying, but I want to be with you?
No, that's too obvious.
Because the petitioner didn't give a flying rip.
That's way too obvious. But would you say that you cared what he thought at all about you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they train your brain first. It actually makes, I don't want to be cliche, but it actually makes me think of Taylor Frankie Paul. I mean, I know we're in Utah, but you only see what's shown on TV, and I'm not a big reality TV person, but
I've never seen an episode.
I was like, okay, all my clients are talking about it. I need to see it. And this guy comes on there, and I'm like, this is a problem. Like, first time that he's on there, I was like, Please tell me they're not going to show all that. They're not going to let this go on. Surely production's not going to let this guy barrel in through the door during recording. He's not invited. They've had some personal interaction. He's showing up in all the ways that she has these weaknesses or like these sad spots. At least this is how production shows it. And I'm like, get this guy gone. And then, it's all blown up. The guy just needed fame and fortune. And I'm thinking, this poor girl, doesn't matter how much money you have. No, Angelina Jolie, is kind of the one that helped us get VAWA signed. There's
she went to Congress and with Caden's mom.
Yep. Christy Brinkley is who found Tina's blog with One Mom's Battle and kind of made that more known. I mean, there's a lot of well-known. Abuse
really
knows
point.
no
Yes.
bounds. It could happen
And
to anyone.
Some of the most manipulative actually will look for and seek out some a tough nut to crack.
I
I'm
mean,
going to go for
like
that
it's a challenge.
like that Taylor Frankie
yes,
Paul for sure. He was like, I want fame and fortune. I want brand deals. I want my face on here. And when he wasn't even part of the show or in a relationship, he
But on
made
the
sure he made
receiving
himself
end-
in there.
Yeah, and on the receiving end though, you feel kind of
Special.
Well, that's
He
the
loves
thing
me
is 'cause,
so much.
I'm kind of like a creative type, and I like to be thoughtful, and I'm super loyal. And so sometimes when people are like, "Oh, don't love bomb and stuff," I'd be like, "Oh, I'd meet somebody, and if they told me their favorite treat, I'd bring them their treat next time, or just to be thoughtful, right?" And so for me, I would be as smart as I am. If somebody did that to me, I would probably think they were like me, be like, "Oh, that was nice and thoughtful."
but would you attach a requirement to it?
Oh no.
And so now we're in an exclusive relationship. So now, then this means that we're next level.
Yeah.
So nice things come with expectations.
Usually,
That's a
strings
red
attached.
flag.
It's usually strings. If there are strings
Okay.
attached, if there's a lot of jealousy, that's
It's
a
not
bad
just
thing
like,
too.
"Oh, I was thinking of you a lot."
I haven't seen you. You've been so busy. You're just such a busy person. I guess you just don't have time for me.
Oh, they make you feel sorry for
the
them.
manipulation.
I remember hearing the person I married when I was dating that he said he only liked red Jolly Ranchers. So I bought one of those big bags of Jolly Ranchers and I got all the reds and I filled them in a jar. I think it was Valentine's Day. I don't remember what it was for.
totally.
I had no strings attached. I made effort and listened. I mean, I was
Right. It's just
reflective.
something nice to do.
Yeah, yeah. But I
I
never
was making Nigerian food all the time.
I never brought it up till right now. I forgot about it. Yeah, learning Nigerian food. So you can do nice things for someone. There is a difference. I think that's what you're asking. Do you want to answer that? There is a difference in how this is applied or rolled out.
It's like the expectation that comes from the behavior, right? Is that what it is? It's
But
kind
even
of like
more than that, they train your brain to believe that your value is based on what they think.
okay.
My therapist would be just and I said, I don't care that you think that about me. He doesn't. He's like, so what? I'm like, I'm married to him. He needs to think I'm good and I'm nice and I'm kind and I'm a good mom. He doesn't think that. That's all that
Which makes sense why they isolate you. Because I'm thinking in my head and my relationships, it's like, well, I have a mom and a sister and a best friend and I care very much what they think. And so if my husband said something that was I'd be like, Mom, do you think that about me? Julie, do you think that about me? And if they said no, I'd be like, James, you're tripping, because I've got a community, right?
Yeah,
and so it makes sense why isolation is part of the gig here. It's they have to make sure that their opinion is the only one you care about because they've isolated you from other people. That would be probably my number one thing to look for, because if they can get you alone, it's physically, I would never go running alone, especially at night, but I would never go running alone. I would I don't travel alone. That seems stupid to me, right? So relationships should be similar, I would think. You should never be alone in relationships.
Well, no way. No.
You mean without someone to kind of touch base with?
Yeah,
I think
should
the
have
opposite.
more than one
They
friend.
tell you we are just us. We are a couple. We are now one. We conquer
Yeah,
the
but
world
not
together.
you're not my only friend, dude.
Yeah.
You're my husband, but I have other friends. And if you think that I'm going to drop my friends because I'm married to you, that's going to be a problem.
Once you start limiting outside involvement, though, it's like they get really, really effective. So more and more and more. I mean, to
That's
the
what I
point
mean.
where it's like, you know, you're like, oh, hey, the sky is blue. No, it's red. No,
Right.
it's really blue. No, it's red. Okay, well, maybe I kind of see a little bit of red. I mean,
Right.
I'm here for a wedding,
and
right?
then it will just go.
And I hope I explained this right, and maybe I'll put something in your messages if I don't get this right. But my friend was murdered by her husband in Lehigh in a church parking lot years ago, and her oldest son. I was just here for the wedding, and when they were getting married, we call them grandma and grandpa. Well, okay, so the kids grew up with my kids, and so now her parents
Have become like your
I
parents.
would call them grandma and grandpa
Yeah.
because my kids refer to them that way. But grandma and grandpa had a problem with this relationship. Not to go into details for them, have them on the podcast and you can ask them. But they were concerned about her getting married to this person. And man, this girl is smart and sharp and strong, and you do not mess with her.
She was talented.
And she said to her, like, extremely
Yeah.
talented in many ways, musically especially. But she told her parents, look, I'm marrying him. You can come if you want. Mm-hmm. Her parents. Mm-hmm. So at that point, she had been so dependent on, and he's in your prisons here, the exit to this beautiful place that we're at right now.
Used to be where the prison was. Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to have a really hard time passing that.
So
on
that
the
makes
freeway.
it pretty difficult to get out. Because once you've done something like that, where you're like taking a stand, that was not my situation. In some ways, yes, because I had to like put on a face of like,
Sure.
this is fine. Let's, I'm
You had to
getting married.
convince everybody
no
that you
one
were
knew.
happy.
I was like 3.5 months pregnant when I got married. Like no one knew.
Wait,
I had
from
told,
start
I had
to
told
finish,
no one.
You
I
dated
didn't
him, and
realize
how
that.
much time before you were married?
Oh, it was almost 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
So
you
I
were
was-
pregnant, married within your 3.
But I was able to avoid a pregnancy for a little while, and then it just was too late.
But you were married when you were 3.5.
So I was about 3.5 months pregnant.
And no one knew. Oh wow.
No, I didn't dare tell a soul. No, because it was like
Married
was
by
so-
our bishop.
Yeah. Who he had convinced he just had like a really tough childhood, which he actually did,
Yeah.
and
So did the petitioner.
and that was an excuse to like behave the way that he did. And then he would just sort of like soften it and tone it down. In fact, that's really tricky too. Like a lot of times within faith-based communities, they'll like have multiple victims, sometimes at the same time, but sometimes different times. And they'll like go to each
Sounds
one
like
of
the
those
Duggars.
leaders. And then as they'll use the same kind of reasoning with each one of those, like, come with me. We'll go together. Like, we're going to make this right. I know that you have these values. I want to respect your values. Like, let's go talk this out together.
It's
Like,
to
I know
your-
that you didn't mean to come on to me. And so
Oh my
we're
gosh.
going to let's go talk this out together.
Like to your religious person.
Well, that
Did
sounds
that person
real
not
familiar.
connect?
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
But
So I
that's
think-
like
but
how
in-
they say therapy is weaponized. Another red flag.
But that's
is let's go to
early
therapy
minimizing,
together.
denying, and blaming. I mean, later on, it can get more overt, but those are
And
like
then,
some of the things can
then
happen. early.
they charm the bishop, they charm the stake president, who then coddles them and believes like, oh,
Or the
I'm
pastor,
so
or the
sorry.
parents, or
Yes.
the like whoever it
Yes.
is. Yeah, yeah.
But I think our nature is, we're religious, so we believe we are daughters of God. We believe in divine nature. We believe that, we are good women who just want to do what's right. And so in our desire to just do what is right, somebody who is
We're the perfect
evil, is going to manipulate that. It's like all we're doing is trying to do what's right. And if we see something that we did wrong, we want to make it right. So of course we're going to go to the bishop.
And
of
you're
course
taught
we're
to
going to talk it
forgive,
through.
and that you can
Yes.
start over, and all that.
Yes,
Yeah.
because these are all good things, but they know how to flip them. Oh, it's so
We
frustrating.
are on emotional on the power and control wheel. And it is 50 minutes in.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's like we need
to be continued.
It's like we need a podcast for each section
Probably.
of the power
I
and
don't
freaking
think we really
control
covered
wheel.
it as well as we could.
Oh my gosh. What's next on that wheel?
I mean, even the emotional part. I mean, because it changes too, depending on when in the relationship. So if you're talking about first red flags to notice in the emotions, and then you're talking about while you're in the relationship and emotional abuse.
Well,
And
I
then
read a few things early on. Maybe I'll just read
Sure.
this section if you want.
Yeah, great. Yep.
Okay. So using emotional abuse, putting her down, making her feel bad about herself, calling her names, making her think she's crazy, playing mind games, humiliating her, making her feel guilty, isolation, controlling what she does, who she sees and talks to, what she reads or watches, where she goes, and limiting her outside involvement, using jealousy to justify actions. I mean, there's so much more to that, right? But these are kind of like the simplified version. Then there's the minimizing, denying, and blaming, making light of the abuse, whatever it is, whether it's emotional, physical, sexual, and not taking her concerns about it seriously, saying it didn't happen. That happens often too. What are you talking about? I didn't do that.
It's gaslighting.
Wait,
So much
you
of this is
apologized to me.
gaslighting.
Shifting-
That didn't happen.
A
I
lot
didn't
more often
apologize.
it's shifting responsibility, though. It's like, well, you got yourself pregnant. It sounds ridiculous to say out loud.
I did want to
but
say that too, Leah. Like,
this
it's
is
a
common.
miracle you only had 2.
I had another pregnancy in between.
I did not know this. Oh,
We talked about
I think
a
we
little bit
did.
on our
Yeah.
earlier one. Yeah.
but I mean, was this like
Well, I wasn't allowed to use birth control.
Allowed.
So why? Why? If he didn't want you to have babies, why was that a thing?
I don't think it was really about pregnancies at
It's
all. It was just about
control, isn't it? Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
control. So
I mean, everything
If
from what
I
you
never
eat.
if I never knew what was going to happen to my own body,
Yeah.
and I couldn't have any plan for that,
Yeah.
then like what better way to control somebody?
Right. It keeps you destabilized.
Well,
You
remember,
never
you
know.
guys,
You have no say or control.
just from a religious perspective, as we're talking, I'm being reminded, what is your soul, right? It's your spirit and your body, and one affects the other. They're intertwined all the time. So if they're affecting your body, they're affecting your spirit and your whole entire soul. Like the manipulating your body is like the perfect way to control your entire being, like inside and out. It just makes perfect sense to me that they go to control your body first, because if they can control your body, they control your mind.
And so many emotions come with that, right? Like relationships become physical, sometimes really fast, sometimes slow. But if someone can like weave those threads together with all this early stuff, then you can be locked in so fast. But I think the couple of other sections that are important too, that also play into physical, sexual, and other things, are the coercion and threats. So making and or carrying out threats to do something to hurt her, threatening to leave her, oftentimes to unalive themselves, to
Did you hear that?
report
Themselves.
themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That usually happens.
I hear that one a lot, actually.
It
I
absolutely.
think more often than like, I'm going to unalive you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna, like, cause then
Yeah.
it's like,
But that shocked me how much.
No, I gotta stay in
But
this.
how much it controlled me. That was said, and I was like, well,
you're responsible for my
I felt it
demise.
too. I might as well just put a GUN to my head. And
I mean,
end
later on,
every-
there was
I was
so
like,
much-
oh, I might cause that if I'm not perfect for him.
There's that,
Right.
or there's substance abuse too. Like
That too.
I found out over
I
the
used
last
'cause
couple
of
of
you.
years. Yep, that, and also, I mean, they'll do it in front of kids. They'll do it with kids. They'll do it to kids. I mean, like substance is so powerful.
Yeah.
My kids would find him passed out. Now I know more that, I mean, I found him also this way too. And then I'm positive that I was drugged and they were drugged. But I mean, he
Yeah.
would just like passed out on the stairs, but he had like told them, this is like after separation, right? Told them, like, you will not call or 911 or report this. Like, it's just fine. I just like, sometimes I just go to sleep, you know, that kind of like all the reasons and excuses.
And I think we
So-
downplay. I know I'm going to sound so crazy, but I'm just going to get it out there. I think we downplay the drugging or poisoning. And it started coming out more in the last couple of years, you know, like the Mormon dentist in
It happens way more
Colorado.
often than you realize, I think. Yeah.
Because they
yeah.
die. When they die, sometimes we find out. Sometimes we don't look. Sometimes we don't know. I'm really shocked. Like even like the Susan Powell one, you know, like even the friend that came home from church, she knows she was drugged with something in that dinner. He needed her gone. He had a plan to act on. And I think do I sound a little crazy? Being
No.
like, oh, maybe they were
I
drugged.
watch a lot of law and crime, so
Right,
no,
but
you
it
do not
does-
sound crazy to
But
me.
in
happens
the
more than
regular
you realize.
world, it'd be like, oh, you think you were drugged or you think you were poisoned, like whatever. But how many clients call me and say, yeah, I remember something weird started happening. Or I'd wake up at night, this was happening to me, but I couldn't move my body.
Did you hear about the case in Europe? This is like reminding me there was a case in Europe where a guy sold his wife online.
The French woman.
Yes.
Yeah, she's
Like,
remarkable.
hundreds of times was drugged and had no idea.
That's right.
That's psychotic, but it's real.
I've had one particular client reminds me of, and then they video it. It's shocking and
Yeah.
sell it.
It's shocking, but it's real.
That, not to downplay that in any way, because it's a really critical case and really, really important in like our changing worldview of what abuse looks like and recognizing things that were previously unrecognized. But also I want to just point a couple of other points about the coercion and threats, making her do illegal things. So illegal things, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
they can hold it over their head.
shoplifting, lying on
Yeah.
tax. I mean, there's like all kinds of things that can come up, but I think so that's another, going back to your red flags. If it's something that starts you're feeling isolated, it feels like too much, it feels too fast. You feel like I would never otherwise do this, but
He's
then,
the man
like,
of my dreams.
Those are some
so-
things that like, you know, you might want to watch out for.
I think that's super interesting, though, the illegal things. I didn't think about that because then it ties to, like, well, now you can't call the cops because if you do, I'm going, I mean,
You're complicit.
yeah, it's like Julie with the dogs. And she's like, when her dog hadn't gotten the shot yet, the guy comes and is like, you don't register your dog and get a rabies shot, you get to go to jail. And she's like, are you kidding me? I've had all this abuse from more than one person and nothing happens to them, but I don't get a rabies shot on my dog and I go to jail.
Yeah.
Are you for real? But it's that kind of thing where if you are like us and you're just trying to do what's good and right and law abiding, that would terrify you. You'd be like, oh no, I did something wrong. And now I can't call
And now
it,
I
like,
don't
you'd
care.
believe it. Yeah,
Now I can
you've been
go
through it
and-
long enough that you're like,
Yeah.
call the cops, do it. It's like Candace Owens.
Or if someone calls the cops on me, I'm like, go ahead.
Yeah,
Because
do
they're
it.
going to slap me on the
You-
wrend and send
well,
me
you're-
home.
and
You
you're like-
take care of my 8 kids. Bye.
Yeah,
That's
Take me
true.
to
You're
jail.
like, please let me go have
and
a
you're like, I
vacation
know
in
them
jail.
all
no
by
kidding.
name. I know all the officers by
I
name.
do.
We'll have
Shout
a
out to
joke.
Officer Gutierrez and Officer Frampton with Sandy City PD.
But it's also like Candace Owens. My favorite thing that she does is she gets in these like wars with people, and she's like, "Please sue me, please." You know why? Because when they do, she now gets to look at all their text messages and like dig into their life, and that's where it's like, yeah, call the cops. That means they'll come and arrest you because there's a warrant out for your arrest. Please do it. You know, to her neighbor.
Advanced manipulation, advanced abuse will also start to look like that as well, right? Where they will befriend the local police.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they were like, oh,
Well-
we know you. I know you. I know who you are.
Let's not forget that. So we need a name for. His name was Parth Gandhi, right? That was his name. Leah does not say his name. I will say his name because I think it's important to know what he did and what kind of person that he was, because he was a psychologist and a doctor.
No, he was not.
He was.
Yeah, and
Are you joking me right now?
He gave
He was a
opinion to
PhD.
the
He had a
Psychologist.
PhD.
gave opinion to the court on children.
And they believe
No,
him because he's a
I
doctor.
have not heard this.
Well, your whole podcast is about
That's
this
where
thing, right?
passed away. So was killed in his ketamine clinic, where he had drugged and assaulted so many victims.
Yeah.
Some that I know, I'm sure many that I don't know.
What?
And that's, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
So,
it's a wild story. It's the stuff that you're like, that can't happen to
Yeah.
me.
Right.
So he was a psychologist, you know, and it's like, why are they going to take the crazy mother's
Right.
word over this
Well, it's
smart,
like,
astute doctor?
if you meet a bad cop, they can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
They get away
But-
with a lot.
So she's
Just like a
ordered.
bad doctor.
She was ordered to the same reunification therapist. Was he reunification? The one who coincided or corroborated, or what is the word? Who got together with Parth?
Corroborated. the
No,
story.
it's not that. And they both diagnosed Leah with a multiple personality disorder.
Are
Yeah.
you
I was
kidding
diagnosed
me?
with everything.
You can't do that.
So,
And my children were
can't do that.
diagnosed with like all kinds.
This is the same guy that I was referred to, that I had to go to.
very good. So that's another
This
thing
person
from
that we all know
Has a
now.
personality disorder.
But
who is
multiple personality.
But
Multiple.
you know, I'm going to tell you, like, most of my clients, that's why, okay, I just had it out with a couple attorneys this last week about that, no, my client will not be taking a psychological evaluation just because the other party is. Nope, we don't agree to both do it. nope, we don't agree to both have a
shared
drug
parenting
test.
presumption, shared evaluation presumption.
Yeah, there you go. No, we
I
don't
was diagnosed
agree
with
to.
borderline, histrionic, multiple personality disorder, like all kinds of things.
When
Not
my
just by him,
attorney
but
asked
others.
me, why not? Why not just go get a psych? Why not just, they want you to do it too. And I
I
said,
still use it against you.
I didn't know that then. In my case, I said, I'm done. I'm not with him. He's not in charge of where my thoughts go, where I spend my time, what I spend my money on. No, I don't agree. Guess what? Do a psych eval on me. You're going to find out I'm dyslexic when I'm tired and I'm extremely ADHD. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. He's not
So,
going to tell me what I'm doing that.
We need
either.
to make a part 2 on this, but before we were talking on a different episode where you were saying that you got a psych eval before it was asked of you.
Yeah, and we were questioning this with Dana because she told me because
It's an
everyone was saying
interesting strategy.
Yeah, everyone was saying. I mean, my lawyer at the time was like, he needs a psych eval. When I was telling her he left and this is what he said, and he was told to divorce me in the celestial room and blah blah blah, and all these just like I was like, what?
Psycho things.
Yeah, and so she's like, he needs a psych eval, and then Dana said, you go get one first, because isn't it that if I do it and it's not court ordered, they can't.
I just don't. I mean, it is part of strategy. I don't, and I don't want all these other guys to go out and do it that we're fighting against. But I want to control. You're in Utah, and I knew you're in 3rd District. I wanted to control who was doing that evaluation, and I know that as soon as it gets into the hands of the court, it's a little harder.
Then it's ordered by someone who's an enemy.
I
You
see.
know,
So
that
you
too.
have to go to somebody
Whoever
they want.
order, because the other
Sometimes.
party has to
What?
agree.
They have to agree.
You
and
can't
you
just
pay
like,
for it.
go to whatever psychologist
No,
you
no, no,
You're
want.
ordered.
How
That's
do
why
you
I
make
went
sure
to
they're
her.
not-
No,
that's
it's
why I went to
specified.
the same guy.
That's
Yeah.
the self-referring group of people.
AFCC.
And if I know the names, I can basically tell you what it's going to say.
That's
it's so bad.
crazy.
It's corrupt.
It's not just Utah.
Because it's one thing in my head, it's like, okay, well, they order you to get a psych eval. Okay, great. I'll go find my own. It's
No.
like, you have breast cancer.
There's
Let's find
no-
a doctor. There's 500. I'm going to find the best one there is. No. You need a psych eval.
That's why I died when they said you are ordered to reunification therapy. We're going to give you 3 names. You pick from one of those. And
Yeah,
so,
that's
but
actually very lenient right there.
yeah, instead
so
of just
common.
telling me who I get, these are the 3. You pick from
No,
one.
you don't choose.
Yeah, but then I'm like, why don't I ever get to have the 3 and you pick? It was never that way.
This is
so I have to pick
terrifying.
one, but one's downtown, and I'm like, so I have to get.
And you have
8
no
kids
control
in
over
the
how much
car.
they cost
Yeah,
or how often you
that's-
have to attend.
That's
it's
why I'm
ordered.
broke. That's why I have
It's ordered.
nothing, because I have 8 children that were court ordered to therapy that was private.
Yeah,
private
that's
funded.
not ethical. It doesn't have a DSM code. It can't be billed through the insurance.
It's a secret combination.
Okay,
But
so
we did.
this
but
is
we
why
did
you
pass,
need
We
Dana.
did pass legislation though this last year. There is more.
This
there's,
is a
there's
big
more
deal.
statute that when courts order therapy, it needs to be evidence based. That's part of Ohm's law, and also they need to consider insurance first. So
Oh,
it doesn't
good.
mean it's not a shall, or sorry, yeah, it's not a shall. It's a may.
may consider. But I feel like that could have really, Julie, that could have changed things
Yeah.
for you. I feel like it could have changed things. Like, I can't afford it. Now, but the problem is we pass Ohm's law, and we've talked about this before. They're like, I don't know what that is. We pass coercive control. They're like, well, I don't know.
Or it's too new, or that your case
Oh, that's
started
just
before
some
that,
legislation I heard about.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit of time, but at least what you have more on this, but the judges learned by the attorneys presenting the law and the definition behind the certain parts of that law. I don't know if it's the right or wrong way, but we've got to find a way to empower attorneys to not just be part of the good old boy girl club and go with the flow, and they like have these parties and they make all this money. It doesn't really matter if they fight the hard fight and win, because they still get paid the same, right? So it's very hard to find attorneys that are willing.
Ethical. That's why I
And
liked
ethical.
Steve Christensen with Christensen.
And
Law.
you're working with him.
I work with him a lot.
Yeah, you're keeping him on his toes, I think.
You can go to
I do.
highgrounddivorces.com to find Dana. Also, I wanted to mention something that Dana said when I was in trial, because she was with me all 4 days of trial and strategizing with Steve in the conference rooms, and I was just like looking back and forth to them as I was like,
Was I
"What's happening?"
nice and quiet and meek back there?
No, you were not. You were intense and you were on fire, and it was awesome. But she
Because
said,
Steve is the opposite.
yes, he's very
So
quiet.
you.
But she said to me, your judge is really, he's good and he's nice. And I was like, wait. He was just sitting there. I was like, why do you say that? She's like, because half of them fall asleep.
Nuh-uh. Are you kidding?
I mean, they're online. You can go look online. You can see videos of them fall asleep or like kick out, your
I think
good.
that just this scenario is so common. What so many of them need is they need it packaged. Mm-hmm. They need the attorney, or they need that party who, if you're pro se, which means like you're representing yourself,
Right.
to package the events and then the law that goes with it, right, in a way that's like not necessarily understandable. They're going to understand it, but just that best represents your case, and that really comes from like the best angle.
So the fact that mine was just listening was considerate. Because I was like, what do you mean? He's not like...
But he also had body language that was... I remember watching being like, oh, I'm super impressed. Like, you could tell in his conversation or his questions back, he actually knew what he was asking. I was in a trial a couple weeks ago here, too. Not with Steve Christensen and not with your old judge who retired. And same sort of thing. I'm like, why do I like this judge? Like, normally I'm always like, ah. But I'm like... really thoughtful.
Yeah.
Like you could tell when they're paying attention. It's just not as common as you would think.
Yeah, well, because it's boring.
I mean,
especially day 2 of my trial was horribly boring.
But I have attorneys tell me back, okay, like Dana has taught me, if you make a judge think,
Yeah.
do you know the answer?
You lose.
You lose. My dad, the attorney, taught me that.
Yeah.
You make a judge think, you already lost.
If
So
they
put
just
it
want it laid out
together.
in front of them.
But wouldn't you be, could you imagine hearing this stuff all day long?
Well, part of it also, and
Yeah.
I realize that there are some good and not so good out there.
Yeah.
But I think part of it is that, like, this is what I started to learn, because I presented at the district court judges conference not too long ago,
Yeah.
and I learned several things that I did not realize. And one is that they have to remain unbiased. I mean, I knew that, but they like, you gotta hand it to me. Like, some of them will say, like, listen, because we'll ask for
They do ask.
more on certain things. We're like prompting you, like, please give me more, because I want to be able to rule the right way. I just like, you got to give it to me. I can't solicit from one party and not the other.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not making excuses or fortifying the stance that like every judge or commissioner is amazing. But I think that many of them actually want to do the right thing.
You're absolutely
They
right.
read it wrong often. And so they really need to like be more conscious about when like it's not just the white shirt and tie and the well-spoken or the PhD or whatever else that's coming in front of them. Like, and we also have to remember too, as victims or survivors, however you want to say, whatever you are, if you have been if you've experienced abuse, you're going to have some trauma reactions. Like,
That's right.
you're going to probably hear and be blamed for being a mama bear. You're probably going to be blamed for being maybe even too quiet. Like, I lost my voice, not because I had, laryngitis, but I mean, a neighbor on the street was like, I can't hear you. I mean, I'm even quieter. We had to choose the mic that worked.
And I'm like,
strongest
get that
for me.
closer.
It like is still a thing for me. I mean, I was so quiet that like, you actually have no, like, there's nothing coming out. So I think we have to remember that a lot of times, especially the emotional abuse, can put someone into a mindset, and that is, it's so difficult to get out of, that you feel like that's who you become. And so that's something I think we should really mention, is that if you're watching someone else experience this, it looks like too much. It looks too fast. It seems like too many gifts. It just is like, that's not something they would normally do. If you see a friend or sister, neighbor, cousin, whatever, it seems like isolated, like, that's something to watch out for. And it's okay to approach somebody. And it's also okay for them to deny it.
Yeah.
And it's also okay for you to still feel like it's a problem. So that's something I think that's really important to point out.
If you feel like you can approach somebody and they aren't receptive to it, I don't know that many will ever be.
So many will deny.
Right. The only thing that I have thought to do is just say, okay, I'm sorry if it ever comes up again, or you start to feel I'm always here. Like, because you don't want to like make them feel like they can't come to you when they are ready because they've told you or you told them. Anyway, because it didn't go well the first time,
Just
right?
do it in the
Keep the door
least
open.
blaming possible.
Don't even
Okay.
say I'm sorry.
No,
That would scare me.
You just say,
right?
I just got really worried when this and this, I saw this and this and this. If you actually identify it, like that's what that midwife did for me. She's like, you can do better than this.
What was it, Leah?
Well, it was like really simple things. Like he wasn't showing up. I think she knew the pregnancy was unplanned. I mean, there were like just a few things that probably weren't over. Like she didn't come home and hang out and watch how he treated me, you know?
Yeah.
But I think she was like astute enough to see. I mean, that's so like, don't give up on someone when you see those red flags. They like, you're feeling that for a reason. That's like a gut instinct that I think a lot of us have. If you care about somebody else, you're gonna notice.
Yeah.
Is there language that makes it like more approachable or easier to hear? Or, you know, like I love the idea of like calling out the behavior because it's evidence-based. It's not super emotional. You're not blaming them. You never want to say like language like always or never or, you know, stuff like that. That's hard to hear. But do you have any advice?
You can use I, like I noticed whatever it is. I think pointing out the perpetrator's behavior is really important, or like I mean, it might be the victim's behavior too. But certainly if anyone ever discloses to you, even if it's the most minimal disclosure and you think there's a lot more, you always, always, always start with, that should never happen to anyone, and I believe you.
Okay.
Like, it should be, I believe you, I believe you, I believe you. Like, even if you say it 10 times, like in whatever form you want to say it.
Yeah.
That is
Okay.
so true.
And if there's ever anything else that do you want to keep talking about this? If there's ever like another time where you feel like you want to share more, whatever, that sounds very generic, then
I'm here.
like,
I'm a safe place. Yeah.
I'm here. Do you want me to tell anybody, or do you want to just talk about it together? Like, certainly if it's abuse of a child, abuse in front of a child with a lethal weapon, or abuse of an elder, I mean, they're like,
But also there you need to be careful, because what happened to your friend was she tried to get out too fast, and when he found out, he got lethal. Well, I don't know how else to say it. And so if I was to feel that way, and I'm seeing myself as a mandatory reporter, and I know that there's children involved or whatever, what's the safest thing to do to report it? Like, what do you do? Where do you go?
I mean, I think certainly letting the person know that you're going to report is really important.
Yeah.
Like, this starts to get into some like tricky legal
Yeah.
and ethical situations for
Because
sure.
I wouldn't want to have me reporting something put that child in more harm than they're already in.
And you might.
And that's very likely, because that's when...
If someone doesn't want to report, so for example, if I have a patient come into the clinic and they like share it with me, like I'll say ahead of time, like, look, if you share this, and this, I have to report it.
Yeah.
But if someone shares something else that I don't have to report, then, or it's also like if I'm treating you for something physical that happened as a result of the, like, then I have to report. But if it's something that happened in the past or something that's sort of ongoing, I mean, I will always ask, do you want more support? Do you want to talk to anyone? Do you want to talk to an advocate? Sometimes it's like, hey, do you want to use my phone to call the hotline together? And you don't have to do it alone.
Huge. I mean, I just wish I had that.
I make a plan and meet you? Like, can we go to lunch another time, or go on a walk another time? Like, at any time you can use my phone. I mean, the more advanced the abuse gets, the more you start getting concerned about like tracking devices and recording devices and like all of that kind of stuff too. So that's like another
so
ballgame.
much more common.
But I think
now.
if you can offer someone a way to get help where
Even
it's
that
not
gives
tracked,
them an idea of like, there are ways to get help. It starts their brain getting creative, and one, acknowledging that they need it, and then two, how can I access
and it may not be like, let's call the hotline, you know,
Right.
but it might be, hey, I heard about some advocates that could help. Probably more, they know more than I do. Do you want to call? Should we call together? You can also call it yourself too and say, I am in this situation where I have a friend, a sister, a neighbor, a cousin, whatever.
What do I do?
And like, they're telling me this, like, what do I do? And they can help you safety plan, like for yourself, or also to make a plan for them too.
Leah, did he, I don't mean to minimize the reproductive coercion, but was he ever physical?
That is physical.
I mean, aside from that though, like, did you ever get punched in the face?
Oh, like shaking, throwing you down, throwing against the like all yeah.
So I didn't
Most
know
of
if
them
it
don't
was-
punch or
but-
kick or slap.
No, that's going to create the black
It's
eye, broken
too-
arm,
That's
and then
what
you
I'm
can go to the
saying.
emergency room, and then you tell what happened, and then
So
they
there
have
was
documented
actual,
evidence, and then you
so
like, you know.
aside from the reproductive, there was physical violence, but not enough to leave a mark.
Well, it's the things like, you know, try to shove you out of a car on a freeway, or
Did he do that
Like
to
a-
you?
of course. Yeah, that's like
I hear
really,
that a
really,
lot.
really common. That's
Yeah.
really common. Or
Driving
take somebody
issue.
to some like height and like try
But
to.
like, is he?
make
Like
them
the
feel like
doctor
they're
in Hawaii.
Yeah,
That just
but is he
happened.
pretending
yeah.
to, or was he really
Oh,
trying
no.
to?
I mean,
Most of the time they really do it. Yeah.
Was he trying to do that to you? And
And well, I mean,
at
who
least
knows?
to
Like,
make
I
you
can't
think
know now
that.
the
At least to make
intention,
you think
but-
that.
oh my gosh, like there's so many.
Because if you
so many
go
questions.
this far, then the person will be like, "Oh, I like
could do
you
that.
punched the wall next to my head while I was holding a screaming baby.
Right.
Next time it's going to be my face,
Yeah.
or next time it's going to be the kid."
Like, go watch The Maid. That's an older Netflix, and it was bottles hitting the wall on the side of her. Thing.
That's why I was wondering if he ever actually touched you physically, you know, or if it was all.
The smart ones don't leave a mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not even leaving a mark. But what about like at least moving you over into a place where they can keep you, or confining you in some sort of way, or punching things around
Trapped into
you?
a room, trapped in a car, trapped
It's
in a basement.
still
whatever.
physical.
Did
That
he
is
lea-
physical.
Did he leave marks on your kids?
He would say no. He would say,
Marks that other people would see without having to
but
look
they
too
make
hard.
marks.
Yes, but we were in the middle of this drawn out custody
Yeah.
battle, and once you're in the middle of that, then it's like
Then if you accuse him of the
could have been a door, could have been the wall, could have
that's
been
hearsay.
Actually, sometimes, and I will say this.
the
and move
protected
on.
parent reports.
Yeah.
They've already been trying to say he
Look,
hurts
she's
them.
trying to make me, but so the mark is left
Look,
on
she
purpose
uses
many
everything.
times.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know what I'm learning? I'm learning that the ones that get the marks left are the least of my worries.
Yeah.
Because it's the smart doctors, PhDs that you would never guess that cause the most
And
harm
also,
to
they have the
most-
money to fight you.
They get away with it. They're
Yeah.
smart. I mean, like
Well, it's like Leah
the
always
dumb
said.
guys.
She always said, "I wish he would have punched me in the face, so that there was some sort of
I did you
evidence."
guys. This is so sad, but I like prayed for it.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
much
believe
easier.
it. Because it's like an alarm to everybody else. I mean, when people are still saying, "Well, financial abuse isn't abuse," and when we live in that world where people still think that, that's crazy, right?
Crazy.
And so if they still don't believe that you can be abused financially, like, yeah, pray for the black eye because that's the only thing they see. I mean, I'm terrified by the people who, I mean, so my grandma once told me that she had a dream where she saw Satan. Okay, I know that's what you like jump out of your skin, right? But when she described Satan, he was at the pulpit and he was in a really nice suit and he was really attractive. She said he's everything you don't think he is. He appears to be this, incredible human, this incredible man. And that's why Satan is scary, right?
A lot of the most dangerous ones are.
Yes, and that's I'm hearing in these stories that we have to be so mindful of too perfect, right? And people and women.
It was. I talked to somebody because everyone says, "Julie, you need to write a book." Although you need to write a book.
Oh,
Well, let's write a book together.
Yeah, we should, right? So and I was talking actually to a ghostwriter, and I was telling him all the things that had happened, and he's like, I'm like, well, he goes to church, he's wearing his garments, he's reading his scriptures. I watched it all. Like he appeared going to the temple daily, and he's like, well, man, it makes it sound like you want to. We always hear avoid the appearance of evil. He's like, no, avoid the appearance of righteousness. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's true.
Well, and
Because
then
they're
there's like the too good to be true.
Yeah.
I mean, you could take
Yeah.
that like in all
Yeah.
kinds of scenarios.
Yeah.
So this is getting we're about an hour and 20 minutes in. We always go longer than we want, but I wanted to leave them with one more story, and I hope it's okay, Leah, to ask, because it is it's unfathomable to think about. And I know we've talked about it before, but that's when the podcast was brand new. Can you tell us about that pregnancy that you lost?
Oh, it's so sad.
No.
I mean, first of all, I'll say like miscarriage is common. It happens. I don't know if the miscarriage that I had in between my two biological children was. I look back now and I kind of wonder, Like, I don't know. I wonder if it was substance, but I'm not sure.
Mm.
It was still like, it was like probably early second trimester, maybe.
So you're
And
past 12
I think
weeks.
I was probably, yeah, I think I was past. But I just started bleeding, and, you know, everything happened at home. This is really common too. And it wasn't too much blood. I called my provider and said, like, hey, is this right? Is this like, what should I do? And from the description, it was still safe for me to like sort of pass things at home. And then, of course, because he was so controlling, I didn't get any care later, which of course she was advising me to do, you know, like.
That could be bad. That could be really bad.
Yeah, I mean, it could be bad because, you know, you don't know if all of the products of conception pass. And a lot of times when, you know, vaginal bleeding can be a sign of like ectopic pregnancy, or, I mean, there are so many complications. So like, I do not advise this. Like, don't not see a provider. Like, you really should. It's better to like have an ultrasound, make sure that things are good. But it was, well, this is like a tough one. And I hope that it's okay for me to pause.
I'm sorry, Leah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was pretty obvious. Like, sometimes when products of conception are passed, then it's, you know, it's not whole. This was.
Mm-hmm.
And his first inclination was to like barge into the bathroom, take it, and flush it down the toilet. And it was like kind of this like really ultimate show of control.
Yeah.
Like, not only will I control you, but I'll control like everything you make. And
I can control a life. I can make and take a life.
And even though I don't know the reasons why I lost that pregnancy, and I was actually felt so guilty for a long time because I was really grateful, like, oh, good, you know, there's not another one. Yeah. And then, of course, when I was pregnant with my daughter after that, because, you know, there was no access to contraception, then it was like, I'm not going to tell him, you know, didn't tell him for months until I like absolutely had to. But I think there's something really deep in us as mothers that we want so much to protect what we make, and we'll do whatever it takes. But there are systems and people and circumstances out there that sometimes it's almost impossible, and sometimes it is impossible to overcome. And that's a scary and really difficult like thought. But I think what I found and learned in all of this is that like I had to dig really deep. I had to find my own foundation again, like just uncover it from all these layers of power and control, and realize that like I still had worth and I still had value. I mean, I'm so grateful every day that I actually had 2 children, because I don't know that I ever would have thought truly. I don't know if I ever really would have left if it wasn't for me saying like, oh, you can abuse me all you want, but you're not going to like, this is not going to happen to them. Like, this is not the legacy that I'm leaving. I am breaking this chain. I mean, it's a tough story.
Yeah. And you did. I'm sorry for asking. I just think it's like the ultimate form of control. You know, to control this life that you created that's still like within you, you know, it's just.
I think it also, I don't know, I see beauty in it in the sense that you valued that life, that it was your baby and you created it. Like, it's sad. I don't talk about my story much, but I lost one and I didn't see it because I had a DNC. It was 20 weeks and it was at the 20-week ultrasound. And so I feel bad for the ultrasound tech, right? But it was like, there's no heartbeat. Anyway, I was grateful that I couldn't see my actual baby, because I was waking up from being drugged, you know, from that experience. And I was saying, they took my baby, they took my baby. But to hear another woman, I have learned through my experience with miscarriages and talking about it, that so many of us women in all different situations, there was no abuse in mine, it just happened. But there's some healing that goes on for people when they hear the story. I mean, I can't relate to your story in the same way, but I relate to it. You know, there's this, I think society tells us that's not really a baby and it's not that big of a deal and whatever. It is a big deal. It is a baby. I created it. That's part of my motherhood. That's part of my journey. And I think the reason why it's emotional for you is because you still value it. It was still, and he can't take that from you. That's your motherhood. That's like, and that baby's still yours. which is so cool to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in obstetrics, we still put it in the little numbers. So there's like how many pregnancies you've had is a specific number. And then there's a little collection of 4 other numbers that like indicate how many were term, preterm, losses, and living. And like those numbers, like they matter. They matter to each of us.
You get to say 3. Your 3 babies. Yeah. Okay, you guys, we're going to stop this and come back for more next week. We just can't stop talking. There's so many things to talk about. I don't even think we've scraped the surface.
It's 10:30 and I don't know how long we can keep these ladies. Leah has to travel quite a ways to get home.
Oh my gosh. So
anything for you.
Thank you for listening. We hope that I guess we hope that it doesn't resonate, but if it does, I'll put those links in the description, and feel free to reach out, message, DM, follow
and just
them.
be a good friend. I value this because I feel like part of my value on this planet is learning to be a better friend, right? And how better do we do it than trying to understand each other?
Right.
And looking at how to help, how to be a warning system to each other. I don't know.
Yeah. So thank you for listening. We will be back next week.
So now you know what it means to be gritty. It can be dirty, but you're still so pretty. Now make a pledge and never take no pity.